presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. Day baseball from the Bay, San Francisco. The Giants playing host to the St. Louis Cardinals in game number 3 of this series. Last night, the 8th time that Adam Wainwright, the Cardinals starter, pitched at least 7 innings without allowing a run. He's been dominant this year. That's the best a Cardinals starter has done since John Tudor in that regard, since 1985, and he is the National League's first 11-game winner. Welcome to Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. That's Tim McCarver. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Adam Wainwright and the Cardinals, thanks to his performance last night, have a chance to have a 500 road trip, and he was sensational in Game 2.
It was Adam Wainwright at his best, showing an uncanny ability to read hitters inside, outside. He only struck out 1 7 2/3, allowing only 6 base runners.
It was an outstanding performance, and today the Cardinals hoping that carries over to Carlos Martinez. Oscar Taveras in the lineup today. Baseball coming up. began in Denver, Colorado. St. Louis turned to a lefty. In the final game of that series, Marco Gonzalez making his major league debut in front of family and friends. St. Louis won 2 of 3. It was off to Los Angeles. A tough series for the Cardinals. They dropped 3 of 4, although they did have some great defensive plays from right fielder Alan Craig. Up to Northern California and San Francisco. The Cardinals have split the first 2 of this series. 25 saves now for Trevor Rosenthal after the win last night. It's the rubber game today. It's the St. Louis Cardinals, the San Francisco Giants. Day baseball next on Fox Sports Midwest. For whatever happens. Night picked up a game on Milwaukee. For about 2 hours, they were out of second place. Pittsburgh had won. Well, the Cardinals post a victory. They're 5.5 back in Milwaukee. They have lost 3 straight. It's Carpenter, Holiday, and Adams in this lineup today, followed by Peralta, Molina, and Taveras. Ellis, John Jay, and Carlos Martinez. Jay against Bumgarner is 4 for 9. He's hit lefties very well this year.
Yeah, it's unusual against Bumgarner to have as many left-handers in the lineup as the Cardinals had today. 4 of the 9 hitters are left-handed for St. Louis this afternoon against a tough lefty.
What's been surprising with him is what he's done here at home. His ERA at home is 4.94. On the road, it's tied with Adam Wainwright for best in the league, 1.32.
It's also surprising that left-handed hitters are hitting 1 point higher than right-handed hitters.
Giants will be happy to see Matt Carpenter leave town. Carpenter, in his career, is now 26 for 50 against the San Francisco Giants. On the year, batting .287, the Cardinal leadoff man with 4 home runs. He's driven in 32. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Dan, to give you an idea about the left-handers, 4 left-handers in the lineup against the left-handed Bumgarner. It's been 5 years, over 5 years, since the Cardinals had 4 left-handed, as many as 4 left-handers in a lineup against the left-handed pitcher.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The 1-2. This day and age, especially in 5 years, dates back to Tony La Russa, would always play the matchups righty-lefty.
Always.
And Mike Matheny, for the most part, is carrying on that same tradition, if you will. But you know you've got Carpenter, who will lead off righties or lefties. Jay hitting lefties so well this year. That makes sense.
Right.
You're not going to sit Adams, who has been on fire.
Or Taveras.
So it makes sense.
Sure.
Count runs full here on Carpenter. If you're wondering, that game that Tim was talking about 5 years ago, Schumacher, Rasmus, Ricky Ankiel, and you may remember Joe Thurston.
Sure.
He was a bench player at that time for St. Louis. Another 3-2 pitch to Carpenter. And he draws a leadoff walk.
Oh, great eye by Carpenter.
The Giants defense with Tyler Colvin in left. Gregor Blanco, good defensive player, in center. Hunter Pence is in right. Sandoval and Crawford. They've started every game of this series on the left side. Panik at second base. Duvall is at first. And Buster Posey is behind the plate. Matt Holliday with 2 hits and an RBI in game 2 last night. In the air, out to left. Colvin breaks in and makes the catch. Fires to first, not in time. Not sure if he just didn't pick that up initially, but a late break and makes the catch on the ball off the bat of Holliday.
Well, the factors that come into play in this ballpark in the afternoon with the sun out are formidable. The wind is a factor. The glare is a factor. It's tough for outfielders to get a beat on the ball, as Colvin just showed.
Giants team that has been struggling. They've dropped 16 of their last 21 and missing some pretty big names. As Adams on the first pitch pops it up. They're still waiting for Brandon Belt to come back. They're hoping he'll be back tomorrow for San Francisco as they head to San Diego. Angel Pagan, we thought he would play in this series. Obviously has not. Marco Scutaro, they don't know when he'll be back, dealing with a sore back. That trio, very, very good in the lineup for Bruce Bochy.
One of the reasons Bumgarner is so effective against left-handed hitters is he drops down just a bit and makes that front shoulder give toward first base. That's an advantage for a left-handed pitcher. Because in order to hit left-handers well, left-handed batters have to convince that right shoulder to stay in there.
Seeing that more and more, I think, with Matt Adams, especially on this road trip.
Yeah, the more you see, the better you become at it.
The 2-1 pitch in the dirt. With a rotation that features a Tim Lincecum, a Matt Cain, Vogelsong last night, who can be very tough. Arguably, their best pitcher is on the mound today. And now the Giants on a 3-1 pitch, a pitch you would think Adams may drive. They shift to the right side. They did not do this.
Makes sense. It's a hitter's count.
And Adams dropping down a bunt, something that Mike Matheny talked about the other day. He wants to see more of this.
Yeah, but it's a bad time to do it on a 3-1 count. That's a hitter's count. Of course, Matt's seeing the shift and trying to put it down, but you know, there's a big difference between 3-1 and 3-2. 3-1, you know what you're going to get. You know you're going to get the fastball. Now, could go one way or the other.
A 3-2. Runner goes, and it's ripped foul. Well, you're exactly right, Tim. I mean, early in a count, if the shift is there, you drop down the bunt, you say, okay, I can understand that. But 3-1, he's got a chance to make it 2-0.
The count is so important. Every hitter talks about getting ahead in the count so they can get a pitch that's predictable from the pitcher. It sounds very simple, but it's not.
Cardinals saw Anthony Rizzo in one game drop down 2 bunts. Game at Busch Stadium with the shift on over the weekend. Adrian Gonzalez did it on Sunday afternoon against St. Louis.
Turned out to be a key hit, too, that led to 2 runs.
3-2 pitch. 2 down. Brings in the Cardinals shortstop and cleanup man Johnny Peralta.
His teammates call him Mad Bum. He had a little extra on that fastball. Foul tipped into the glove of Buster Posey. Is that a great nickname, Mad Bum?
Madison Bumgarner. Small town where he's from in Carolina, North Carolina.
Hickory, North Carolina, about 60 miles from Charlotte. Lives in Lenoir, Lenoir.
But 2,800 people in his town. He was the 10th overall pick in 2007. One ball and no strikes on Johnny Peralta. What has been at times a very trying and frustrating road trip for Mike Matheny as Peralta hits a high fly ball out to left. Colvin can't find it. This ball will drop, and it's going to drop in the seats.
How about that?
Home run and a 2-run shot for Peralta. Colvin had no idea where it was. Blanco came over. And you know what? The one that catches it, it's a fan. It's a souvenir, and it's a 2-run lead.
Yeah, you needed a ticket to catch that ball.
Right.
But, I mean, it gives you an idea. We talked about the wind, the glare here. And it's something the Cardinals obviously are going to have to deal with defensively. But Johnny Peralta puts the Redbirds on top with home run number 12 on the year. Boy, did that give you an idea of how tough it is to see out there. I mean, Colvin had no idea. That ball landed about 20 feet behind him.
It didn't even move.
No.
Did not pick up the ball off the bat of Holiday. Certainly didn't pick up that ball off the bat of Peralta. And for Johnny, that's home run number 12 to lead the club. RBIs 37 and 38. And a 2-0 lead. Here's Molina. And it's 3-0.
You know, Dan, you can just imagine what a helpless feeling that is for an outfielder. Here's that fly ball one more time. Tyler Colvin, the left fielder, trying to find it and couldn't.
There's the second walk in the inning. He's got the shades on. Hat pulled down. He was shading from the sun, couldn't find it. Polanco has glasses, but they're on the back of his head.
That's when he has to go back on a ball.
Never heard it put that way, but stylish look when he goes back on the ball. He's covered. Here's Oscar Taveras. Made his first ever major league start in center field last night. Falls behind 0-2. So the odd man out today is Alan Craig. Oscar is in right field. He's hitting 186, 1 home run. That was against the Giants in his debut game. And he has 2 RBIs. One and 2 the count. Runner goes on the 1-2, and it's popped up. Shallow center. And Gregor Blanco is there. Wynn playing tricks on that ball, too. Johnny Peralta gets one up into the wind here in San Francisco and puts it in the seats. 2-0 St. Louis. Stop. Leads the club in that department, also in doubles. 2-0 on one swing of the bat as we take a look at the Giants lineup. Changes for Bruce Bochy's club. Trying to get something going offensively. Hunter Pence, Joe PANIK, and Buster Posey here in the first. Sandoval in 25 games, 4 home runs against St. Louis, including one in Game 1. Then it's Colvin, DUVALL, Crawford, Blanco, and Bumgarner, the pitcher, batting 9th. In St. Louis, their key starter is right-hander Carlos Martinez.
He has started 3 games for St. Louis, and the Cardinals have won all 3 games. He hasn't pitched deeply into the games, but he's been effective through 5 1/3 once, and 5 the other 2.
Hunter Pence batting leadoff. Spot normally occupied by Pagan. And Pence is hitting .295. 11 home runs, and he's driven in 31. And a fly ball lifted into right. Taveras over and makes the catch, 1 away. Cardinals defense around the horn is brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. It's Holiday in left. Jay is in center. Oscar Taveras in right field. Matt Carpenter, Johnny Peralta, left side of the infield. Ellis and Adams on the right side. And Yadier Molina is behind the plate. Here's Joe PANIK, second baseman. He was drafted out of St. John's, and he grew up in New York, about an hour outside in East Fishkill, New York. It's north of the city. He was considered one of the best shortstop prospects heading into the 2011 draft as he hits it foul.
Just thinking about something in that gym that Wainwright tossed last night. There was not an out recorded by the Cardinal left fielder or right fielder. And here the first out of the game today is a fly ball to Taveras in right field. There were 4 fly balls recorded last night when Wainwright was out there.
Another ground ball, foul.
All to center field.
And Tim, Wainwright had just 1 strikeout. His deepest outing without a strikeout was a start against the Royals in 2007. He worked 7 innings that game. And then last night, his deepest outing with just 1 strikeout. That's taken high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes, but he was magnificent.
Oh, man. Masterly.
Here's a 2-2 pitch. But Yadier Molina, the workhorse that he is and has become in his 10 years in the big leagues. He's starting the day game after a night game. He's done this now, including today, 197 times in his career.
Wow. Now Buster Posey back behind the plate for the Giants too, but I mean nobody is as durable as Molina over the last decade. He's been on the disabled list 3 times. 3 for that position.
Popped up, foul territory, and Carpenter makes the play. He was battling the sun too.
Oh yeah, yeah. Anything to the left side, from center over to left.
Matter of fact, to just follow up your point, the only catcher that has caught more innings since Molina brought himself into the league in 2004 is A.J. Pierzynski now of Boston. That's it. Well over 10,000 innings logged by Molina.
Whenever you see a fielder trying to field a fly ball and they're turning their left shoulder if they're a right-handed thrower, they turn that left shoulder, they're protecting against that glare. Very, very difficult.
Here is Posey.
I've talked to a lot of outfielders. I'm not too sure the sunglasses really help on a day like today.
Yeah.
When you're exposed to it like that.
CJ calling over Holiday. And an 0-2 to Buster Posey. Misses low and away. Key pitch for Carlos Martinez, the slider. Lefties have really had success against that, but since moving into the starter's role, that has dropped down considerably, that average against the slider. Gets Posey to reach, and that's fouled.
The last 2 he's thrown have been good sliders. He gets in trouble as a lot of pitchers do when they get under the pitch. They drop the hand, get under it, and that's when it spins like a cement mixer, as the players call it. And that spells trouble. They go a long, long way. It's a dangerous pitch when you're not on top.
1-2 off the end of the bat, shallow right. Ellis going out, drops in for a hit. 2-out base hit, Buster Posey.
The game is designed to where some balls are hit where nobody plays.
Perfectly placed here.
Yeah.
That's one, if you're the pitcher too, you're saying, I made a good pitch to a guy that's a former MVP off the end of the bat, and it drops in.
It's frustrating. Dims the brakes.
Yep. Now Sandoval, the switch hitter. Home run number 100 of his career in game 1. 19th Giant to do that in the San Francisco era. And he had gone 12 games without a home run prior to that blast. Popped up. Carpenter over and out of room.
Once again, that pitch that Posey hit, it's so frustrating. I mean, you do exactly what you want to do as a pitcher. Your catcher's working. You get exactly the pitch you want. And somehow you keep it off the fat part of the bat. And Buster Posey just bloops it in there.
1 ball, 1 strike on Sandoval. Mentioned last night his average has raised about 100 points. Last 40 games or so as Adams flips it to Martinez. Giants strand a runner, and the Cardinals on top after 1 inning of play. MLB.com for the All-Stars, and Yadier Molina with a slim lead, we understand, over Jonathan Lucroy. Get your votes in at MLB.com. Another guy that has a chance, a late push potentially for third baseman Matt Carpenter.
And we've also talked about Matt Adams. So the corners for the Cardinals could be in Minneapolis July 15th.
I'll throw one more at you. Maybe, just maybe, Trevor Rosenthal.
Sure, sure.
He has saved 12 of his last 13. He's now up to 25 as Ellis looks at a ball low and away.
Yeah, it's Mike Matheny's turn to pick for the first time.
You take care of those that take care of you.
That's right.
I mean, really, that's what it's about.
Absolutely.
As Ellis hits it out of play. And then having said that, looking at how the schedule could unfold for the Cardinals, you'd have Adam Wainwright making the start on July 12th, which is a Saturday. If it was Sunday, he would not be allowed to start or even pitch in the All-Star game.
Right.
It's a rule of Major League Baseball, but the Battery could be all St. Louis to start that game. Good chance of that happening. A swing and a miss and a strikeout of Mark Ellis, number 2 today for the lefty.
By the way, I recently learned that the term battery, a pitcher and a catcher, was invented, I guess, come up with by Henry Chadwick in 1862 during the Civil War.
And the reason?
The battery of the Union Army and the Confederate Army, the battery were the cannons. So he came up with the term battery, and the article never said why a battery is a cannon. We know Molina throws well, for instance.
Has a cannon.
Has a cannon off his right shoulder. But I couldn't get I knew the derivation. I understood that, but I didn't understand why he named it a battery.
You and I were talking before the game. Another baseball saying, the rubber game.
Yeah. Who invented that? Who said that initially? I don't know.
As Jay shoots it into left center, and the catch is made by Blanco. Now, I know our sales staff at Fox Sports Midwest, they came up with the Toyota keys to the game. And that's me. You know what I mean? You've got to talk now.
That's right. Production from the left side is pretty simple for the Cardinals today, with 4 left-handed hitters in the lineup.
That's pretty simple.
Yeah.
And that really is the key. I mean, can these lefties get to Bumgarner? Oh. Martinez looks at a strike. We got to the ballpark. It was cloudy, very cool. And it's a different looking day now, a couple hours later. Sun is shining brightly. Just a beautiful afternoon here in San Francisco.
Yeah, the morning started like an early December morning in St. Louis.
Foggy, cool, a little windy. Nothing like this place. The tourists, they go to Alcatraz Island and Golden Gate Bridge, Fisherman's Wharf. List goes on and on. Maybe catch a ball game. You know, for years, you'd go to Candlestick, and I know you had been there thousands of times probably, and calling games there, for me, it was just not a fun experience. You would freeze at night.
Horrible.
Yeah. There's another line drive to center field, and Blanco makes the catch. Cardinals go 1-2-3. We're midway through 2. St. Louis on top. Midwest. Adam Wainwright, after the win last night, the first to 11 wins in the National League. He is first in ERA. With more on that, let's check in with Jim Hayes. Jimmy.
Dan, no question about it. Adam Wainwright has been sensational this season. He's also doing some pretty special things off the field as well. You may have heard about Wayno's World, which raised over $110,000 for some very worthy charities by giving fans a chance to play fantasy football against Adam and some of his teammates last year. Well, Adam is expanding that to include 10 other big league clubs. Every cent of the money raised goes to causes like Habitat for Humanity. They plan to build some family in St. Louis a new house, and also Water Missions International and Operation Food Search. Adam's new website set to debut on July 9th. And Wayno would love everyone to check it out, Dan. It's bigleagueimpact.org. One word, bigleagueimpact.org. They expect it to be up and running July 9th, Dan.
Good stuff. Thank you, Jimmy. And here's Tyler Colvin to lead it off in the second for the Giants. Talked to Adam at length about what he's done. And just to take that story a little further, he has visited orphanages and villages in Africa where they literally have no clean drinking water. And so Adam Wainwright said, we've got to do something to make a difference. And he and his wife went over there, visited the villages, and then came back. They have built now wells with clean drinking water. And it is pretty amazing to think of all the uses of clean water, as crazy as it may sound.
One of the major problems in the world.
Absolutely. And they've done that now for various villages. They are teaming up, as Jim mentioned, with other big league ball players to do fantasy football to raise money. So with the one in St. Louis, they're hoping to raise probably $250,000. Adam will dig deep in his own pockets and also donate a bunch of money as well. But Clayton Kershaw is a part of this. Freddie Freeman in Atlanta. Some pretty big names, and they've got an event coming up in St. Louis in which they raise that money. They have players on the teams themselves. They play fantasy football. They'll come to the ballpark to have their draft. They get a private box. They meet the players. I mean, it's a neat deal.
Yeah.
And those that donate and decide to jump in really feel a part of something that is worthwhile, and it is. Two balls and two strikes. BigLeagueImpact.org is the website to check out. Martinez thought he had strike three. Tyler Colvin, you may remember him with the Cubs and the Rockies. He signed a minor league deal this offseason and made the club for San Francisco. A 3-2 pitch. And Martinez can really field his position, as we've seen, makes the play easily.
You know, that little underhand throw, I think I told you earlier in the season, talking to Mike Maddox, the pitching coach of the Texas Rangers, anytime one of their pitchers has to go to the first base side of the mound, they're taught in the minor leagues to underhand the ball to first base. I mean, how many times have you seen a pitcher is designed to throw a ball 60 feet 6 inches hard, and how many times have you seen them let up on a throw to first base and make an error in the process?
Lollipop it over there.
Right. They're not used to doing it.
This is popped up, and that'll find the seats out of play. That's the first I have heard of a team actually teaching.
They teach it in their minor leagues. Mike Maddox told me that whenever a pitcher goes to the first base side of the diamond and fields the ball, that they are taught to underhand the ball to first.
This is Adam DUVALL at the plate. If anybody spends time in spring training, and I mean just about any day, in any of the backfields at Jupiter, you'll find somebody doing PFP, pitchers fielding practice. Rarely, if ever, will you see them underhand the ball to first.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a step and a throw, and they always are taught throw it with velocity.
Yeah, right. But, you know, if you're too close to the first baseman, you can handcuff him.
Absolutely. Comes a two-seamer at 98 from 40 feet.
Right.
0-2 the count. Good pitch.
Now that's the slider Martinez is looking for. If you could bottle that pitch, you make a lot of money in this game. Watch this pitch dive away from the right-handed hitter. No chance. From a man who just underhanded it to first base.
Tim, that last pitch was the Carlos Martinez that you saw doing postseason play last year.
11 appearances in the postseason, and his stuff was just electric.
Really was. Here's Brandon Crawford, who's hitting .246. We've seen him really show off the glove. Great range at shortstop, made a couple of fantastic plays last night. And the 1-0. Grew up a Giants fan, now playing for the San Francisco Giants. Ball's behind, 1-2. The pace at which Martinez pitches to is always something I think that's a positive.
When you work fast, the defense has confidence in you. More confidence than when you're working slowly.
2 strikeouts in this ball game for Martinez. They come back to back here in the bottom of the second as we head to the third. Using the hashtag STLFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. It's brought to you by AT&T. Wherever you may be, hope you're enjoying Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. We'll be kicking off your holiday weekend early. Cardinals head back home. Will host Miami tomorrow night. Carpenter walked and scored on the 2-run homer by Peralta in the first. Holiday on deck, and then Adams. Doing games with you, Tim, I just noticed the little things that you pick up in a game. I mean, you pick up a lot of little things that go on, the nuances of Major League Baseball.
It's the same view. It's the same view that I had as a catcher. You know, you're 2 stories higher, but it's those same things that you never even think about until your job becomes to talk about things.
And
like
the reason I bring it up is that we have 2 catchers as managers. And,
yeah.
You know, Bruce Bochy, I asked him one time, I said, well, how did catching help you in what you're doing now? And he said it was a huge advantage because you handle a pitching staff to an extent with your coaching staff. Mike Matheny has done that. You learn how to handle different personalities, but he said you also see the whole field, and that helps. Now, Bruce was mostly a backup catcher, and he told me at the tail end of his career is when he really started questioning managers, not in a negative sense, but hey, why did you do this? What are you thinking about for the remainder of the series? Bullpen actions. And he said that's what really helps him now, is being a former catcher.
And just looking down at Buster Posey right now, if you had that view that he had, you're unknowingly learning the other positions. That's going to make you a better manager. So you can talk to a second baseman about why he wasn't cheating close enough to second base with a runner on at first, or a shortstop positioning, or a center fielder not getting a jump on the ball. You're seeing all these things while you're going through them. You don't know that you're learning these things,
sure,
but you are. The mind's a great thing if you don't have to use it.
That's off the sidewall, and Carpenter on his way to second base. If you don't have to use it. A leadoff double for the Cardinal leadoff man. Same thing with Rick and Al. You know, you talk to those guys about pitching and the little things that they're able to pick up that myself, average fans, the game within the game is fascinating.
It's funny, you know, from a pitching standpoint, most of the game's behind you. From a catcher standpoint, everything's in front of you.
Absolutely.
Good hitting by Matt Carpenter, who walked in the first, scored on the Peralta home run. Only the second extra base hit in the last 2 games for either team.
Carpenter now 27 for 51. There's a ground ball to the right side, and Matt not advancing from second to third.
Well, you're trained to watch the line drive. I think the ball landed toward, I think Matt's a little miffed with himself right now. But that ball was hit so hard, a one-hopper to Panic. And you don't want to get off the base, obviously, to be doubled up. But you don't see that too often with nobody out. Holiday going the other way. And I assume it was because there was a chance of the ball being caught, and Carpenter couldn't pick it up right away.
Matt Adams at the plate just watched Holiday in the dugout, just slammed his helmet, and I think he's thinking the same thing.
Yeah, you go the other way with a ground ball, and you expect to move the runner, and you don't.
1 ball, 1 strike on Adams. Bumgarner has struck out 2. The first was Adams back in the first. One pitch, instead a check on Matt Carpenter. Little bit of a shift here. You've got the shortstop Crawford near the bag at second. Panik is on the outfield grass, and well off the line at third, Sandoval. Outfield straightaway and deep.
See, Madison Bumgarner with that slide step. There's really no need to use this slide step with a runner on a second base.
Ground ball right side. Taken by DUVALL. He'll step on the bag, and Carpenter advancing from second to third.
Here's that play with Matt Holliday. You're trained to watch the line drive. That was a one-hopper to Panic and hit so hard that Carpenter didn't have a chance to react. Obviously, you go to third easily on a routine ground ball because it's such a long throw for a second baseman. The only infielder on the right side that I ever saw alerted to that play was Albert Pujols. Always thinking about going to third with a man on second and nobody out. I've never seen a right side of the infielder thinking that way.
Peralta 2-run homer back in the first. 161 his average with runners in scoring position. One of the reasons the Cardinals went out and got Peralta, they needed more production from the shortstop position, but also what he had done against left-handed pitching. Last year, he hit .352 against lefties, which was 5th in the American League. .344 with runners in scoring position, 7th best in the league. .3-0 with 2 outs.
I think Mike Matheny will turn him loose right here. Look for a pitch to drive, and if you get one, take a hack. That was hackable too. I don't know if that's a word, but it is now, right?
It worked. 3 balls and a strike. Bumgarner already above 50 pitches. We're only in the 3rd. Full count. Three and 2. He breaks his bat. Popped up. Joe Panik. No panic in that catch. I had to do it.
Why not?
Had to do it.
Enjoy yourself.
It was awful, though. Night fireworks, the 4th of July. Saturday, it's the patriotic jersey giveaway. Sunday, the Edmonds bobblehead. And weather should be ideal. It's supposed to be just gorgeous back home in St. Louis. So looking forward to getting back home, and Miami in town tomorrow night. We are in the rubber game of this series. The sporting term rubber match refers to the final and deciding game in any series and traces its origins back to the 16th century English game of lawn bowling.
Is that a forerunner of croquet, I guess?
Yep.
500 years ago.
Bocce ball, I guess. That would be part of it, too.
Bocce ball
yep.
in Italy.
Said most sources date the use the term rubber to refer to a tiebreaker as far back as 1599. So there you go.
There you go. Nice going.
I don't know if I believe any of it, but we're in the rubber game.
That's fun stuff.
As Blanco rips it fair past Matt Adams, who was near the line. Tavares brings it back in, and it's a leadoff double for the 8th place hitter, Gregor Blanco.
Because of the absence of Angel Pagan, Blanco is in there, his 22nd game in the last 23 the Giants have played. And he delivers here. Now that was a slider that hung up there. had no downward bite. We talked about it earlier. When he gets under that slider, that's a dangerous pitch. Blanco proving it once again.
Madison Bumgarner with 2 home runs this year and 7 RBIs, batting .222.
No sign of a bunt there.
He does have 4 sacrifices this year. Corners are in for St. Louis. The outfield straightaway and shallow. The 1-0. Rips it out to left. That's a base hit. Blanco with good speed being waved in. Throw by Holiday is cut off. Madison Bumgarner with his 8th RBI this year.
Bruce Bochy giving Bumgarner the green light all the way. There was no show of bunt. He was hitting all the way and delivers to his own cause. Pretty good swing from a pitcher.
Sure is.
For anybody.
Yeah. No chance for Holiday, and the base hit to left, and now we're at the top of the lineup, and Hunter Pence, who flied to right. 0 for 1. He's now in the leadoff spot today. Good slider there by Martinez. Mentioned last night the Astros trading Hunter Pence. They got 4 prospects back, and at that time it was for the Philadelphia Phillies, adding Pence to a team that already had won 102 games. That's kept in front by Molina. Well, this week the Astros called up the last of the 4, a 21-year-old outfielder, Domingo Santana. You've got John Singleton, Jared Cozart, Josh Zeed. All 4 acquired as prospects at the time, now in the big leagues. And a trade that obviously is, you think, long-term could work out for Houston.
Yeah, when general managers sign young players, all they want is to give that young player a chance to make the big leagues. It may not be with their team, the team with whom they sign, but as long as they make the big leagues, you use them as a bartering chip.
It backs up at a strike. Look at that finish by Martinez. I mean, watch this finish. Knee on the ground, back to the home plate. Little tapper that'll roll foul. Houston right now, if you look at the average age of the rosters currently in baseball, the 25-man rosters starting here on July 3rd, Houston has the youngest roster in baseball. The Cardinals are the 10th youngest. And in terms of homegrown talent on the 25-man roster, and this backs up to what you're talking about a little bit, if a team is either drafted or developed players, the Cardinals right now have 15 of them on their 25-man roster. That's most in baseball. A 2-2 pitch to Hunter Pence.
Again,
slider.
Again, a wicked slider.
3rd strikeout. Fox Sports Supports proud to collaborate with Stand Up to Cancer, groundbreaking initiative created to accelerate innovative cancer research that gets new therapies to patients in order to save lives now. For more information, visit foxsportsupports.com. Here's Panik with 1 out and a runner at first.
Maybe wondering why Matt Adams is holding the pitcher on at first base. A lot of first basemen don't like playing behind the runner because it obscures their view of a ground ball. So they play in front of the runner, a little off, kind of in the line, so they can see the ball immediately. So what they do is they sacrifice about 3 or 4 feet instead of behind the runner. Matt prefers playing even with the line, and the runner's got to go behind him. And there's no way Bumgarner is going to try to steal.
And a ground ball. Adams steps on the bag and hits Bumgarner on what should have been a double play, and exactly what you were talking about.
It was a good play and a bad throw. But to Bumgarner's credit, he went into second base standing up. Had he slid, that clears the view of the shortstop Peralta to see the ball. But because he's standing up and he stands at 6'5", the ball hits him in the back, and a break for the Giants. Hit him in the head.
Sure did. Extends the inning to Buster Posey, who singled to right. You know, Tim, I think Matt Adams has played well above expectations defensively.
He has, absolutely.
And I asked Jose Oquendo, who works with him daily on drills defensively at first base, I said, what's the biggest piece of advice you have for Adams? And it relates to what we just saw. Here's the 0-1. And he said, you have to realize you have more time than you think. When you're at first base, you're always going to have more time than you think you have.
You have more time than you think as a catcher throwing, as a third baseman, any position player, you have more time than you think.
And he had more time on that play, too.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Nice play. Carpenter to his left. It takes a hit away and an RBI from Buster Posey. A couple of diving stops in this series by third baseman Matt Carpenter, the second base all-star from a year ago. Giants get on the board. It's 2-1. T Park and baseball this afternoon on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Schnucks, your neighborhood hometown grocer for 75 years. Cardinal fans here in Northern California, 2-1 St. Louis as we move to the top of the fourth. It'll be Molina, Taveras, and Ellis.
You and I walking back to the hotel last night, about a mile or so. Cardinal fans all over the place.
It's amazing. Travels so well. Pence in the corner and a foul ball. On a clear day, You can see across, and all of a sudden you see Oakland in the Oakland Coliseum. Well, late last night, Bud Selig gave word to the A's that if they did not get their lease agreement with the city, they could move immediately. Well, all of a sudden, that threat, if you will, got things moving, and it looks like the A's will be staying at least 10 more years in Oakland.
Former St. Louis and Lou Wolf is the owner of the Oakland Athletics.
Oh, 2 pitch. Molina with a base hit into left center field. That ball was up, and Yadi on base for the second time. You may remember the home run he hit off of Dan Masilli right there. His reaction. That was in Game 6, the 12th inning, or his catch off the bat of Brad Ausmus. Celebrating Jim Edmonds and the 2004 team this weekend at the ballpark, and his bobblehead giveaway will be on Sunday. Here's Oscar Taveras, who flied out to shallow center.
His head never bobbled when he went after fly balls, I'll tell you.
Nice and steady. He made some plays. 1 ball, 1 strike. I would think one of the toughest parts of managing, certainly the game action, bullpen decisions, but also managing individuals, human beings. And in this particular case, and it may have been a scheduled day off, I didn't have the chance to ask Mike, but Alan Craig sits today with a lefty on the mound, and you're trying to get this offense going. So along the way, you're going to have guys with the addition of Taveras that are sitting that normally would not be in that position. It's part of the business. On the outside corner, a strikeout of Taveras. 3rd strikeout for Bumgarner.
That ball may have been a little outside, but again, Bumgarner, watch the right shoulder of Taveras. When that leaves, you're finished. Get back to the Joe Torre explanation about 30 years ago. Never let a pitcher get you out away with 2 strikes. That means you're vulnerable inside. You can't protect both sides. But if you take that approach, then Oscar Taveras had a chance to foul that ball off or a little flare the other way. But it's just such a solid thought. Never let a pitcher get you out away with 2 strikes.
Mark Ellis, certainly familiar with this area, all the years with the Oakland A's. Joe Torre headed to the Hall of Fame. Bobby Cox, Tony La Russa. Tom Glavine, Greg Maddux, Frank Thomas. We're just days away from Cooperstown and one of the great celebrations of the game. Colton Wong, if you're wondering, has been hitting well at Memphis a couple of games back and is eligible to come off the DL on Sunday. He could provide a little jolt to this offense too.
I think we talked about it last night. I think he can give the animation to the Cardinals of what Angel Pagan of the Giants gives to them. That movement. When you look at a team, you see animation, movement.
Many ways you're talking about speed.
Yeah. Yeah.
To first, spinning for the out. No, threw it away. Into left field it goes. Molina will stop at second base. What should have been an inning-ending double play. DUVALL, who is not normally a first baseman, he's playing out of position. Now he has done this, but normally a third baseman could play a little outfield.
It's the second time we've seen a batter or a base runner go to second base standing up. I'll tell you, when you have to throw over him, something like that happens. That's why you should go in standing up to second base. We saw Bumgarner do it. He was hitting the head, and because Duvall didn't want to hit Molina, he airmails it over his head.
First air on Adam Duvall. Now John Jay. Jay is 0 for 1, lined out back in the second inning. One ball, one strike. You know, to further your point here, Tim, in talking about lefties against lefties, I think John Jay is a prime example of someone that does keep the front shoulder in.
Yeah, right. That's why he's been successful this year.
Against lefties, really going the other way.
You have to have a conversation with that particular part of your body. Keep your shoulder in. It's tough to do. Another way to think that way is to think left center field. And that's a good conversation with your front shoulder. Keep it in. Think left center. Think left center. Now, obviously, when you do that, you're vulnerable inside. But again, you can't protect both sides of the plate.
2-1 the count. 2 runners on. And Jay hits it the other way. That ball is fair. Inside the left field line. 1 run is in. That's Molina. Ellis to third. Jay with an RBI double. Back to a 2-run lead for St. Louis.
If that front shoulder's out of there, he's not going to hit that ball where he hit it. That pitch was actually on the inside part of the plate. So it proves that if you keep the front shoulder in there, you can do enough damage. I mean, you're going to get jammed occasionally, but that's inside, outing the ball down the left field line. Good hitting by John Jay.
RBI number 21 for John Jay. So Bumgarner, who should have been out of the inning with a double play, was extended to the 8th place hitter, and he makes him pay. Is Dave Righetti out to visit?
Jose Oquendo talking to Carlos Martinez. If there were runners on at first and third, you might think safety squeeze here. I think with Matt Carpenter on deck, I don't think you take a chance on a squeeze right here. Even if Martinez strikes out, you still have Carpenter up there hitting with 2 runners in scoring position.
Infield in. Martinez hits it sharply and past Crawford into left, and 2 runs will score. Carlos Martinez with a single that brings in 2, and it's 5-1 St. Louis. 2 pitchers here today that can swing the bat, because Martinez, a former infielder when he was signed, and then we've talked about the numbers for Madison Bumgarner.
The pitchers for both teams have had 3 at-bats with 3 RBIs.
Right.
2 for Martinez, 1 for Bumgarner.
What a costly error that has become now for Adam Duvall. Matt Carpenter walked and scored in the first and doubled back in the third, showing bunt, takes a ball. No activity yet for the Giants in their pen. On the run, remember, Cardinals scores 6. Just 50-cent drinks the next day. Keep the savings going with $5 sandwich, chips, and drink meal deal at your nearest On the Run. 5 runs already for St. Louis, only in the top of the 4th. 1-2 the count. Sam, you think about, and it's stating the obvious, but you think about the little things that you have to do at this level to win. Game 1, Cardinals bases loaded, nobody out. They don't get not even a run home. As Carpenter breaks his bat, little bloop out to left, and a foul ball.
Yeah, and that gave the Giants momentum going into the bottom half of the inning. They score 3 runs, end up winning 5-0.
And at this inning,
yeah,
inning-ending double play should have been now 3 runs.
Yeah, you give any kind of offense with major league hitters 4 outs in an inning, and it's going to burn you. There's nobody on that field that feels worse than Adam Duvall right now.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Carpenter.
And you can't take it back.
Nope. And a swing and a miss by Carpenter, and strikeout number 4 for the lefty.
It's the oddest thing, and never understand why a pitcher has a tough time pitching at home. Madison Bumgarner with an ERA over 6 at home, and on the road he's 6-1 with a 1.25 ERA. Now go figure that out. Should be the opposite. And the reason for that is he's pitching off the mound. When he pitches at home, he's pitching off a mound designed for him. The slope, the foot landing, things like that. And on the road, it's always different. So all mounds are 10 inches high, but the slope's different than other mounds. It's not designed for the road team. Obviously, it's designed for the home team.
0-2 the count.
So go figure.
Talking with our pitching staff, those guys love the mound in San Diego. For whatever reason, they talk about a road mound. They say San Diego, they said they feel like you're 10 feet tall. Spacious ballpark, too.
Yeah, that's because of the slope of the mound. The mound has to be 10 inches tall, but the slope varies.
Just doesn't make a lot of sense, those numbers. And that 4.94 ERA was coming into play today. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Holiday.
Chub Feeney was president of the National League back in the 80s. Now, I remember doing a game with Al Michaels in Los Angeles, and I talked about the slope of the mound. I said the Dodgers have never changed this. It's still 15 inches high. Well, Chub called in the 9th inning, and I told Al, I said, uh-oh, we just got a call from National League President Chub Feeney, and he's mad. And Al said, did he call collect? Chubb was formerly a president of the San Francisco Giants, and Chubb was of the thrifty sort.
Is that right?
Yes, he was.
Moths, as you like to say, coming out of the wallet.
Yeah. Moths out of the wallet, right?
That's spoiled by Holiday, the 2-strike pitch. 3-2 the count.
A lot of our viewers may not know what calling collect means. Well, 25, 30 years ago, when people call collect, that meant to reverse the charges. The person to whom you were calling was responsible for the long distance call.
Cell phones, what was that back then? No texting,
no
emails.
No.
Our travel has changed dramatically over the years because of that. 3-2 pitch to Holiday, and he walked him. walk number 3. That may get the bullpen going for Bruce Bochy. They start to stretch inside that dugout. And it brings in Adams. Eighth man to come to the plate. Matt Adams has struck out and grounded out. Bumgarner, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. That's Yasmero Petit, a right-hander, heading down to the pen. So it makes this such a crazy game. I mean, on paper you say Lincecum, he's not the Lincecum of old, even though he's coming off a no-hitter. Last night you've got a guy in Vogelsong that has been .500 since we last saw him in postseason play. And the one that you really looked at on paper and said, well, this is the guy that could be tough. Cardinals struggle against left-handed pitching.
Start 4 left-handed batters against him.
And yet you look up, it's 5-1. Crazy game. One ball and 2 strikes. What's very surprising to me is what the Giants have done at home last year. Barely above 500, and right now barely above 500. This is a great place to play. Fan base, it's sold out day in and day out. A ballpark that is advantageous to those that would play here 81 dates. This isn't cookie cutter.
No.
The wind, that's a factor. You have to get used to that. The cool nights. Bruce Bochy, a 2-time manager of the year, is trying to figure things out. They won a championship in 2010, again in 2012.
Cardinals and Giants have represented the National League the last 4 years in the World Series.
Swung on and missed, and Adams way out in front. A costly error by Duvall. The Cardinals make him pay. 5-1 St. Louis. Bound. Pat Neshek. Last night he came in against a lefty, got a key out in the 8th inning. Well, we said it earlier, you take care of the guys that take care of you. And Pat Neshek, there is not a better setup man statistically right now in baseball. He has had an unbelievable season.
And nowadays, setup men are getting their just due.
To think that this guy, after Christmas, looking for a job, just trying to catch on with anybody. He had been through a brutal personal experience in losing a son last year, newborn. And in talking with Pat, obviously such a hard and trying situation for he and his wife. Now they do have a new baby. Everybody's healthy and doing well, but you pull for guys like that. And you go down and talk to Pat Neshek, a smile on his face every single day, whether or not he's pitched well the night before or not. Pablo Sandoval, Kung Fu Panda. He was wearing his lucky cowboy boots to the ballpark the other day when he hit number 100, given to him by Madison Bumgarner. Things were going so poorly for the Panda. Bumgarner said, you need these cowboy boots. He said, what are these? Nasty boots. He said, I'm going to get you another pair. So they put it in the dugout. He had a pair of boots in the dugout, and then the pair that he would wear around. He had his gamers, if you will. And so Bumgarner, trying to change his luck, gave him some cowboy boots. Oh, yeah, there they are. Beautiful sight.
But ball players aren't superstitious at all. No.
Did you have any superstitions?
No, I didn't. Still don't.
You're being honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's hit out of play.
I think announcers, as a matter of fact, should announce no hitters for the pitcher in the 3rd inning, 4th inning, 5th inning, 6th inning, and so on.
We've been down that road.
Yes, we have.
That swung on and missed, and a strikeout of Sandoval.
I mean, baseball players and those in uniform are so superstitious. Chris Maloney, the first base coach of the Cardinals, told me this morning. I asked who the teenager was that went up to hand out the lineup card before the game last night. I said, was that a nephew of someone or a son of someone? He said, no, he's the bat boy. And Mike Matheny said, take him up there with you. It might change our luck. They win 2-0. It's 5-1 today. So go figure.
Can that kid travel? We can find a uniform tomorrow night.
John Mozeliak listening right now. He's going to say, who is that?
Yeah. Get him a seat on that charter back home.
Yeah, that's right.
Tyler Colvin. You may remember this in 2010. And that's when we saw a ton of shattered bats in the game.
Disturbingly so.
Right.
Yeah.
And we always were saying, well, someone's going to get hurt. It could be serious, maybe a fan. Well, Tyler Colvin had a punctured lung from a shattered bat that ended his season. This is a guy that was the 13th overall pick a few seasons ago by Chicago, then to Colorado, and then signed in the offseason with the Giants. But, I mean, that is scary stuff. They had the maple bats, you have the ash bats. And it shattered and punctured his lung. Went right through the jersey, through the skin, and into the lung. I mean, that is scary stuff.
It certainly is.
Martinez, back-to-back Ks in that strikeout number 5.
This is the best stuff that Carlos Martinez has had in any of his starts. Good changeup right there. And yes, he did tinker with his countryman Pedro Martinez last November on the changeup. Amazed at the length of the fingers of Martinez. I mean, Pedro had those extraordinarily long fingers for a man his height. Only 5'10", but his hands look like they belong to a guy who was 6'5".
Here's DUVALL, and you ran into Pedro Martinez.
I did. I stayed in, I'm retelling the story, but stayed in Boston after the World Series last year, saw the Red Sox parade down Boylston, and then was going to an autograph signing, went to that signing with Pedro Martinez, and I asked him if he knew Carlos Martinez. He said a little bit. I said, what would you tell him about his pitching? And he said, I'm going to track him down and work with his changeup. And he did.
Yes.
In November.
Ground ball left side. Hit off the lip of the grass, and Carpenter stays with it. Good play. Martinez and the Cardinals rolling in game number 3. St. Louis on top, 5-1. PERALTA now has 70 hits this year, 35 extra base hits, 35 singles. Rick made a very good point there in that hit. Martinez has, the pace hasn't slowed down, delivery has.
It's what usually happens, and coming right from a pitcher, we expect that. But he has slowed his delivery down considerably, pitching with a world of confidence this afternoon.
No balls, 2 strikes. 5-1 St. Louis. PERALTA got it all started back in the first inning with a 2-out, 2-run homer, his 12th of the year. He now has 38 RBIs. And a strikeout, number 6 for the lefty Bumgarner. Here's Molina, who has walked and singled and scored.
Talked earlier about Bumgarner being from Hickory, North Carolina. Lenoir, a little town of, what'd you say, 2,800 or so?
2,800,
right?
Yep.
Obviously grew up on the farm and very handy with his hands. In fact, a couple of years ago, the Giants had landed in Denver, and they have 2 buses, a media bus as the Cardinals do. Media bus, one for the players, and the bus broke down. Bus driver called for another bus.
He didn't fix it, did he?
He knew where to go to fix the bus. He went to the tail, lifted the hood, and in 15 minutes he had fixed the bus, and the bus continued as the second bus was headed out to take its place.
Now that's unbelievable.
Man's handy. He can pitch and handle buses.
Wins you the game, then he'll take you to the next city.
Yeah, right.
That's handy.
Pretty
I've never
handy.
heard that story. I'd be worried about my star left-hander fiddling with the engine. I don't want him around tires or engines.
You know, Dan, they'd come from Chicago. It was Chicago, Denver, working their way back to San Francisco. Dwayne Kuiper told me the story a couple of years ago, and it was like 12:30 at night in the morning.
So you're not going to get anybody.
Yeah, I mean the bus driver, who should be the guy to fix the bus, is holding the flashlight. And Bumgarner fixes it, and they head on downtown to their hotel.
And if you've ever been to Denver, you know that the airport
an hour.
Oh, takes forever as Molina picks up an infield hit on base for the 3rd time. I had not heard that story. I mean, I've heard all the stories about with he and his wife and the wedding gift, which was a
pet calf.
Calf, right?
I guess a pet calf.
I mean, he's
a calf.
He's all country.
Yes, he
is.
But
I had not heard that. That's good. He fixes the team bus.
Talking about a guy who could do it all.
Oh, I'm telling you. Tavares takes a ball in the dirt. He is flied out to shallow center and was called out on strikes. That was in the 4th. See, I'm Brian Sabian. I'm going to play GM here. I'm sitting there saying, well, means we probably get in about 1:32, maybe 3 in the morning, or we can get in at midnight. I got a prize lefty. Got to think about that. All right.
Great arm.
Get out there.
Great arm, right?
I'm tired. Get out there. The other way, and Sandoval makes a dazzling play.
That'll make some reels.
Whoa. What a play. Pablo Sandoval to PANIK over to DUVALL. And the double play turned by the Giants. for the 5th. What a play by Pablo Sandoval, robbing Oscar Taveras to his left.
Not only to make the catch, but from his knees, throwing to second, a perfect strike, and Panik completes the double play.
Well, he delivered that perfectly to second base.
Perfectly.
Great play, Pablo Sandoval. Crawford, Blanco, Bumgarner. Carlos Martinez is really settled in. Back in the 3rd. Gave up a couple of base hits, a double and a single. Cut the lead to 2-1 after that. Got out of the jam. Then in the 4th, Sandoval and Colvin struck out. DUVALL the ground out. And an 0-1 pitch. Good sinking action. Now 0-2. And a ground ball hit to the right side. Mark Ellis. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service celebrating 12 years. You could sign up now at Cardinals.com and get details.
You know, Dan, body language is so important for all players, but particularly for pitchers. And you just watch the body language of Martinez, and you can tell the confidence is there.
Little extra step.
Yeah, standing tall. Remember in the early 80s when they used to talk about the poise of Dwight Gooden, and Jimmy Fry, the then manager of the Chicago Cubs, said, if I had a curveball and fastball like him, I'd be poised too. Well,
Sure.
The same could be said about Martinez.
Martinez diving for it, and it'll be a base hit.
Only worry is he all right?
Yeah, not up yet. It just knocked the breath out of him on that diving stop.
What an athletic play. Couldn't give the ball to Matt Adams. Matt was off the bag anyway. So a bunt base hit for Blanco, but more importantly, is Martinez okay? Swiveling that neck around. He didn't get full extension with that right arm either, and that would be the major concern, I would think.
And he says he's fine. It's Greg Houck, who's the lead trainer for the Cardinals there, with Mike Matheny and Ron Kulpa, who's the home plate umpire, the St. Louis native. So base hit for Blanco, and they'll pull back Madison Bumgarner. Joaquin Arias will be the hitter. So Bruce Bochy will go to his bullpen, looking ahead to the top of the 6th. Arias is hitting 183 this year. Five innings for Bumgarner today, trailing 5-1, and a check on Blanco. It's Juan Gutierrez throwing in the pen for San Francisco. Two of the fastest players for the Cardinals are pitchers. One is Martinez. Actually, three. Joe Kelly.
Joe Kelly, right.
Maybe the fastest of the bunch is Sam Freeman. Liner caught. 2 down. But all three very good athletes. Cardinals finish up the longest road trip of the season here this afternoon. What's on tap? Back home at Busch Stadium tomorrow for the 4th of July.
I know that place.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Great crowds expected. The weather should be perfect. Still tickets remain all weekend long.
See that first game starting by Lance Lynn. I talked to Lance about his middle finger of his right hand, his throwing hand. And he said he and Greg Houck have been working on that finger with tough skin and glue.
And as crazy as it sounds, that can be an injury that lingers, and for some it's career threatening.
Yeah, you want a callus on the index finger and the middle finger, but you don't want it too thin to where it cracks. That's where the problem comes. I mean, you have to manicure that like a professional.
Mm-hmm. Talked to Lance as well, and he seemed not overly concerned about it. Had a tough start against the Dodgers last time out over the weekend. Hunter Pence. The 2-0. Cardinals have seen him so many times, Tim, and they set up outside or they have that slider ready to go.
Well, that was a fastball swing and a slider.
Yes.
There it is. No, it isn't.
Three and one.
Carlos moving that neck around now. Oh, to have youth, huh?
He hopped off that mound and was over there lickety split. Got him to reach again. Ground ball. Peralta has to hurry and safe at first.
When a right-handed hitter hits a ball like that, I think Mike Matheny wants to review that perhaps. But when a right-handed hitter hits a ball like that, he's going toward first base anyway. If you're not playing shallow, and it's tough to play him shallow in the infield. I thought he was safe. Ooh.
Now I think he's out.
Yeah.
I hate to keep harping on the point, but on replay, unless it really shows in a manner that is clear. Mm-hmm. Multiple replays,
well,
it seems
I
like.
mean, those are the rules. I think you're harping on it because it's true.
In my mind, the replay with Adams to the back of the camera angle, he looked out.
Yeah.
The other ones I look at and I say he's safe.
He looks safe, right.
So they'll review this. Could be the potential third out in the inning. We had a play like this in spring training. They were using replay, and the players had been instructed you don't leave the field potentially because if it's not overturned, you're stuck out there, or you got to come back in. The players all came back in. Then they had to go back out. Runners were in their fielding positions for the team, and then they had to go back in and get helmets and go back out.
You know, I'm not sure if the umpire in New York who is looking at this anticipated a replay and started looking at it before Mike Matheny challenged it. If he didn't do that, he should be doing that.
No question.
Talking about speeding up the process.
From a Cardinals perspective, you've had already Martinez trying to recoup after the diving play, then had to have a couple of warm-up tosses just to get loose again to see how he felt, and now he just stands out on the mound. And that's, you know, the other players, that's one thing, but it's the pitcher you really get concerned with.
Absolutely.
If you're just joining us, the Cardinals picked up 2 runs in the first inning on a 2-run homer by Peralta. Then after a costly error by Adam Duvall, what could have been an inning-ending double play, the Cardinals tacked on 3. They lead it 5-1. RBI for Madison Bumgarner. Maybe they're seeing something that we don't, but he looked out on that one view of the
one play behind him, yeah.
And I think the question then, Tim, becomes when is the ball in his glove? And I'm serious about that. I mean, the rule, as explained to me, and see, you can't tell when it's in the back of the glove.
Right.
Is when it hits the leather in the back. It's that close of a play. But from the one angle, it looked like he was out. Regardless, Pence stands at first. Blanco, the runner at second base. And here's Joe Panik. Panik grounded to first back in the 3rd inning and has also popped out. Fastball taken low and away. Extends the inning with 2 outs to the second place hitter. You've got Buster Posey on deck. Big gap in right center. Molina can't find it. And the runners do not advance.
Well, you have to run the bases differently when you're trailing by 4. You can't take a chance. If you're winning by 4, maybe you try it. Gregor Blanco, I don't think he could find the ball either.
Outside, 3-0.
One never knows whether the delay had something to do with Martinez throwing 3 straight balls. I mean, it's not absurd to think that would be the case.
And
to further your point.
Yeah, the big concern for Major League Baseball was the delay. We're told unofficially it took 4 minutes. And with that, Manus begins to throw in the Cardinal pen. (3-1) pitch. Now 3-2. Martinez due up 3rd for the Cardinals, looking ahead to the 6th inning. Seth Manus has really started to settle in and look like the guy that we saw at the end of last year. 3-2 pitch. There go the runners, and he walked him. One of the biggest moments in the game right here. Bases loaded. Giants down by 4, and Buster Posey at the plate. Oh for 7 in this spot this year. Look at Martinez not fooling around. Got the ball back, and then Posey saw that. Called time to try to slow it down. 0-2.
There are 2 right-handed hitters in the National League that with 2 strikes predominantly try to go the other way. One is David Wright of the Mets, and the other is Buster Posey. Wild pitches could be a concern here. He's thrown 5 this year.
Time call. Molina wants to visit. Knowing that he has, Tim, a devastating slider, at times very good here today, but at other times throughout the year he has spun it.
He can make mistakes with it.
So the question then becomes, would you feel comfortable leaving that pitch at 1 and 2? You know,
you have to feel comfortable against a right-handed hitter with Martinez's slider. He hangs it, he hangs it.
We'll find out. Here we go. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Two and 2. Got him. Slider. Martinez, the strikeout, biggest of the afternoon for him. He has struck out 6. The strikeout and his reaction. Cardinals on top.
By pitch, 2 fastballs to Posey. Runs the count to 0-2. Then a slider misses. Another slider misses. And the 2-2 slider got him. Buster Posey thought that he foul tipped that ball. And of course, if he did, and the ball landed on the ground and then the mitt of Molina, obviously it's a foul ball. Bruce Bochy out to argue that play between innings.
And Bochy was really upset with Ron Kolpa, and I think the reason why, number one, for what you're talking about, he felt it was a foul ball. However, Kolpa did not ask for any help on that play from the other umpires.
In fairness, though, to Kolpa, I don't think you can ask for help for somebody when you're this close, because the only way you're going to call a foul ball is sound. And the other umpires are too far away to hear that sound.
And if you're wondering, that's not reviewable too, so
Right.
it couldn't be a reviewable play on that. As Gutierrez is our Chevy called to the pen, the right-hander here in the top of the 6th, and the Cardinals leading by the score of 5-1. Ellis J. Martinez. Sam Freeman hops out of the dugout for St. Louis. We'll see if they stick with Carlos for one more inning. Freeman got up twice in the ball game last night, but never came in. Ellis 0 for 2. It was his ground ball hit to DUVALL back in the 4th. That we felt should have been a double play, but turned into an error on a throw that went into left field. And the Cardinals made him pay. Carlos Martinez, a base hit that scored 2. One ball and 2 strikes. Mike Matheny is in his 3rd season in St. Louis. And Bruce Bochy, 12 years with the Padres, and now in his 8th here in San Francisco. World Series that my partner called Tim McCarver back in 1998. Bruce Bochy was the first foreign-born manager to reach the World Series. Born in France. Now 59 years of age. They were swept by the Yankees in '98. Crawford to his left. One away.
Bruce Bochy went back to France, and he went to the air base that he thought he was born. Where he thought he was born. His sister had told him the name of the air base. It was the wrong air base.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So he goes over.
Thinking, well, this is nice. Go back to my birthplace. It was the wrong air base. And he never went to the other one. So a trip to France for naught.
Probably still wasn't a bad trip.
No, I'm sure of that.
But you'd like to be at the right place. 0-1 the count on John Jay. He had a double to left field that scored a run. RBI number 21 for the Cardinals center fielder. Shane Robinson has moved to the on-deck circle. So
yeah,
it looks like that'll be it for Carlos.
Excuse me, Dan. I said air base because obviously his dad was in the Air Force. That's why he went back there, but it was the wrong one.
That's a tough story, you know. I mean,
disappointing.
Yeah. Jay drops down a beauty. No play for Sandoval. And John Jay is 2 for 3. Reminder that voting continues at MLB.com. You can see the All-Star Game with special coverage beginning at 3:30 on Fox Sports 1 and the All-Star Game at 6:30 on Fox.
Well, Bruce Bochy was born in France. Mike Matheny was born in West Virginia, and his dad Jerry watching the game today. His grandfather is 94 years old and stopped farming when he was 90 in Leon, West Virginia.
Mike, a Michigan man. His daughter, ice hockey player for the Ohio State University. One of the great rivalries in all of sports, Michigan and Ohio State.
Yeah.
Take a look here at the bunt by John Jay. Tough to tell as to whether or not he was out of the box, but regardless.
If the right foot's in there, there's no argument there. As long as you don't step across the plate.
You know, John Jay, I know we've talked about it, but give him an awful lot of credit. I mean, he has performed this year.
He really has.
Hit well against lefties. We've talked about that, but plays a good center field. Doesn't have all the speed in the world. That's a base hit by Robinson down into the right field corner. John Jay being waved in all the way from first. Here comes a relay. Nope. Robinson on his way to third. 6-1 St. Louis.
You talk about a good play all the way around by Jay, Robinson, and Jose Oquendo. We talked earlier about when you're ahead, you take chances. And with one out, Jose Oquendo taking a bit of a chance, thinking that the cutoff man will not be hit in right field. Jay running hard from the get-go. Watch Oquendo. The windmill for the right arm is going. And Shane Robinson did not slow down. So now Oquendo goes from waving Jay to waving Robinson. Busy play and good base running by the Cardinals.
Infield drawn in for Carpenter, who has doubled today. This ballpark has seen the most triples in Major League Baseball. We were having a discussion in Game 2 about why not be more aggressive. And you talked about how over the years triples have gone way down year after year.
That's right. Since the 50s. That is correct.
And one of the things we mentioned was that make the team make the play. There's a lot of things that have to happen there.
Especially with one out. That's the time you try to go to third. With nobody out, 2 outs, you don't want to make the first or third out at third, but you're willing, if the chance is good, to make the second out at third base. You take a chance. Robinson did. Jose Oquendo waving Jay home. That cleared the path to third. And Robinson has a rare pinch hit triple. That's a rare hit.
Sure is. And that relay was bobbled by the second baseman.
Right.
A lot of things have to happen. As Carpenter hits it out of play. John Jay, productive afternoon with 2 runs scored, 2 hits. The RBI double back in the 4th. RBI for Shane Robinson off the bench. Move that pays off for the Cardinals, taking Martinez out, going with Shane. And the lefty Sam Freeman getting loose in the pen. Gutierrez, the second pitcher used by the Giants today. Relief of Madison Bumgarner. Here's a 1-2. I've asked Carpenter before. I said, if you drop down in the lineup, could you be more of a home run hitter? You know, with the idea you're going to hit for more power in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th spot. He said, yeah, I think I could. You're talking about 10 to 15 home runs. He's at 4 right now. But his approach as a leadoff man, second to none with his eye. His batting eye is tremendous. And today he has walked and scored. He has doubled. He has struck out.
I don't think you change your approach regardless of where you're hitting in the lineup.
Yeah, I've heard you say that.
You can hit first, second, third. You've got to play to your strength and not to the position in the lineup.
2-2 here on Carpenter. For $1,000, the signing bonus out of TCU. Matt Carpenter.
Got $1,000. That's all.
$1,000. Yep. And last year, when I think most of the baseball world, when you talked about the Cardinals, they focused on the young pitching, 20-plus rookies. But man, oh man, what a season by Matt Carpenter. The Cardinals do not get to postseason without what he did at second base and in a leadoff spot.
Talk about the Cardinals scouting department return on investment.
Oh, I'd say
This
so.
story should be on CNBC.
Yes. $1,000. Now he's being paid handsomely now.
Yes, yeah. Both sides. Cardinals are happy and Matt's happy.
Matt Adams, another one of those guys found out of nowhere. Alan Craig, lower round pick.
The scouts in baseball are the grease that turns the wheel.
They really are. Three-two pitch on its way. Carpenter gets it in the air out to shallow left. That's Colvin. Robinson will stay put at third. With 2 outs, it brings in Holiday. Matt is fly to left, grounded out to second, and walked. The day for Martinez is through. Up to the bullpen now. 6-1. Cardinals here in the top of the 6th. Carlos with 6 strikeouts today, only 1 walk, and 1 run allowed. One pitch to Holiday. Chopped foul, 0-2. Right-hander up and throwing for the Giants now. Milwaukee is at Cincinnati later tonight. Excuse me, tomorrow night. Loesch and Simon in that start. Taken high at 95 miles an hour.
When you're the visiting club, you love to hear crowds murmur.
That's what's happening today. I've always felt this ballpark one of the most electric crowds in baseball.
Absolutely, really.
The Cardinals a chance to make it 2 of 3. Win 2 series on this road trip and play .500 baseball. Time is called.
I guess I should say the people in the crowd murmur, because crowds don't murmur. People in the crowds murmur.
We're waiting for something positive to happen. The 1-2. Holiday hits a liner out to right. Pence going back and makes the catch on the track near the wall. Redbirds will strand a runner. They've left 5 on, but Shane Robinson, an RBI triple off the bench. Half of the sixth. Both starters are out. Carlos Martinez, 5 innings, 5 hits, 6 strikeouts, 1 run allowed. John Jay is 2 for 3 today. Madison Bumgarner, 5 innings, the 4 earned, and Blanco is 2 for 2, the center fielder for the Giants. Along with Tim McCarver, Dan McLaughlin, Jim Hayes with you, and Sam Freeman, who's had a great first half of the season. A Chevy call to the pen for the lefty. He's really done a nice job.
We talked about the body language of Carlos Martinez. A very, very good 5 innings today, striking out 5. Well, the same can be said for Sam Freeman. Pitching with a lot more confidence and throwing strikes now. Not only to left-handers, but doing very well against right-handed batters.
Right-handers hitting actually below the lefties. Right-handers 115. And the left-handers 192. And that's why Mike Matheny feels comfortable starting an inning with him, realizing there's righties he will face, or a switch hitter like Pablo Sandoval. Sandoval is grounded out and struck out. Popped up and out of play. Nothing at 2.
There is such a disparity between Sandoval as a left-handed batter and a right-handed batter. He just simply does not have the same swing. Almost, he's so awkward from the right side.
Almost looks off balance.
Yeah, he does. Batting 100 points higher left-handed.
We have not seen Sam Freeman since the 3-1 win for the Cardinals against the Dodgers. So it's been a while. Oh, 2, little tapper rolling fair. Freeman fires to first, and what a pick by Matt Adams.
My goodness.
What a tremendous play that was.
I thought Sam Freeman was going to let that ball roll foul. He is a remarkable athlete. We've talked about athletes. You know, we might have to add Sam to that group of athletic Cardinal pitchers. What an extraordinary play. Freeman, we thought he was going to let the ball roll foul. He picks it up on the line, in between hop for Matt Adams, and just a splendid pick. You're right, Dan. Right on the line. Otherwise, that ball rolls foul.
You can see Freeman motioning to himself, looking at Adams, saying, "Oh, that's my fault."
Yeah. But you know, I don't think any other pitcher in baseball tries to make this play. They let it roll foul. And then Matt Adams crossing over, no less. My gosh. That's a beauty.
Here's Colvin, who is 0 for 2 with a strikeout, a ground out, 2 balls and no strikes. We saw Freeman in the games against Colorado.
Yeah.
Had some really good plays, and that's outstanding play there by Adams, who may have been stepped on, it looked like, by Sandoval.
Yeah, inadvertently stepping on the left foot of Matt Adams.
As you mentioned, going across the other way becomes a very dangerous play for a first baseman. Freeman seems to be a little unnerved after that, too. Last 3 pitches have been nowhere close. Mike Matheny had the choice of Freeman last night or Pat Neshek, and went with Neshek in a move that paid off. Freeman was up twice, getting loose, and now here in game 3. 1-out walk. The AT&T fan photo. One-out walk to DUVALL. Excuse me, Colvin, and here is DUVALL. He struck out and grounded out. Both teams have turned a number of double plays in this series. Base hit to right.
I'll tell you, the last 48 hours in this ballpark, we have seen some brilliant defensive plays, haven't we?
Crawford, Sandoval, Carpenter, the play by Freeman and Adams moments ago. It's been infield defense more so than the outfield.
There have been so few fly balls hit to the outfield.
So here is Brandon Crawford, hitless in 2 plate appearances today. Runners at first and second. The Cardinals with a lead of 6-1.
Think of this inning from a Cardinal viewpoint if you don't have that play by Matt Adams.
Nobody out. And a fly ball into right. Drops in for a hit. Misplayed by Taveras, and a run will score. Crawford, his first hit in the game.
That's going to be an error on Oscar Taveras because Tyler Colvin has no chance to score unless the ball gets behind him. He sees the hit after the momentary delay, almost stops at third right there. Then he's waved on by Tim Flannery once the ball gets by Taveras. Not a good play by Oscar Taveras.
Main is up and throwing in the pen and getting loose in a hurry. Runners at the corners. Here's Blanco, who has 2 of the 7 hits for the Giants today. One-0 pitch. 2 balls and no strikes.
After the play that Sam Freeman made, 4 straight balls to Tyler Colvin. DUVALL and Crawford single on the first pitch, and now 2 balls.
Right.
To Gregor Blanco. I don't believe in meetings, Dan, and we've talked about that, but I think in this instance, calming Freeman down is the proper thing to do.
Switch hitting backup catcher Hector Sanchez, who singled off the bench late in game 2 last night, is on deck. He's thinking the same thing, though. You could see he's been a little bit unnerved.
Yeah, you picked up on that, and you're right.
We haven't seen him deal with runners on all that much because he has been so dominant at times this year.
That's true.
2-1. Curveball and a beauty. 2-2.
That pitch shocked Gregor Blanco. Me too.
Me 3. I'm expecting fastball for sure.
Too.
That has been his primary pitch, the bread and butter, and for a guy that's struggling a little bit here with his control.
Yeah, right.
You're thinking fastball all the way. We'll do it again. It's 2-2. And he got him, a strikeout. Freeman's first of the afternoon.
Sam coming back. You think about the key pitch in that sequence was the curveball, the 2-ball and 1-strike curveball for a called strike, and then the foul ball and the strikeout. Good job by Freeman.
You know, Tim, to put that element of, okay, now he's got a feel for the breaking ball.
You got it.
Left guessing to an extent. Now it's Sanchez, who's a switch hitter. They have Perez, Hicks, and Morse left on their bench. One ball, one strike. Sure, we'll get more of an update on Kevin Segrist when we get back to St. Louis, but when you think about these lefties the Cardinals have, Randy Choate, the true lefty specialist, but Segrist when healthy, Freeman, no issues facing lefties or righties. 1-2, and then you have Nick Greenwood, who's had a couple of valuable appearances for the Cardinals and getting innings.
Yeah.
First ever appearance in the big leagues. He picked up a win in relief of today's starter, Carlos Martinez. One strike away from getting out of the jam.
Sanchez has looked bad on the last 2 pitches. Ball's in the dirt. Another changeup here.
Two and two.
Like another change. 3rd in a row, if so.
Ground ball, Peralta makes the play. Giants pick up a run. They cut into the lead. It's 6-2 as we head to the 7th. Peralta, the 2-run homer. That was early on. And Molina, a couple of singles. John Jay, nice afternoon. 2 hits, double, single, RBI, 2 runs scored. And Carlos Martinez helping his own cause. He went 1 for 2 in his 5 innings of work with a couple of RBIs. Yesmero Petit, the Chevy called to the pen, the second reliever used by San Francisco. We're in the 7th, and the Cardinals have a lead. 6-2. Matt Adams on the first pitch greets him with a line drive that's fair down into the corner. And Matt is 1 for 4 on the day with that double. Brings in Peralta.
First pitch swinging, that fastball inside. Hey, if you go up there and you look for the fastball inside and you get it, hammer it. And that's what Matt Adams did.
Right field wall here at AT&T Park, 24 feet high in honor of Willie Mays. We play at AT&T at Willie Mays Plaza, 24 Willie Mays Plaza. So much history when you think about the Giants and their move from New York. Moved in 1958.
7 years prior to that, Willie Mays made his debut at the Polo Grounds. 0 for his first 23 under Leo DeRocher. And as Leo said so appropriately, there's nothing that Willie could not do. Nothing. He could hit for power, for average, throw. There's no better base runner in the history of the game, in my view.
Is that right?
Willie Mays, yes.
1954, his great catch in the World Series.
Dan, when I first came up, my first full year was 1963, and when we were playing the Giants and Willie Mays was on at second base, outfielders were told never throw home with Mays at second.
Just concede the run.
Unless it's the game-winning run. Never throw home. He would bait you. He'd run just hard enough to draw the throw so the guy who hit the ball could get to second.
You know, it's interesting. I've heard some people say, well, he's got a swing that reminds me of player X. I never hear somebody say that guy reminds me of Willie Mays.
He was unto himself. He actually had 2 swings,
and
one at the Polo Grounds and one at Candlestick. He changed his whole swing. How can you be that gifted to do that? Because the wind blew out at Candlestick Park. The Polo Grounds was like 298 down both lines, 502 feet to straightaway center field. And then you get to Candlestick Park, the wind blew out to right. He changed his swing to hit the ball solidly to right field. Who can do that?
Right. 660 home runs.
Yeah. What a player.
12 gold gloves for Willie Mays as Peralta hits it deep in the hole and short under the glove of Crawford into left, and Adams will advance from second to third. Base hit for Johnny Peralta, and he's 2 for 4.
Matt Adams did not want to be the first out of the inning had Crawford come up with that ball, because his only play would have been to third base. So he holds at second and then moves once he sees the ball go through.
You know, people forget the Giants almost became a team that moved to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Then they moved to San Francisco.
Instead of the Giants, it was the Washington Senators,
right,
who moved to Minnesota.
And they become the Twins.
Right.
And then the Giants come out here, Northern California. Walter O'Malley brings the Dodgers. Dodgers not allowed to move here by baseball unless another team would join them. Polo Grounds was getting beat up. Ebbets Field getting beat up, looking for new stadiums. They didn't have them. Didn't get the approval for them, so they move out west. And the Yankees were the only team in New York until '62.
And prior to 1958, the team that was the farthest west was St. Louis.
That's right. That's part of the reason the Cardinals have such a reach and fan base throughout the Midwest, and
so true.
Even for so many years down to Georgia and Texas and out to the Rockies as Molina strikes out. First time that Yachty has been retired. He had a couple of base hits and a walk. Slams his bat, breaks it, and now it brings in Taveras.
Oscar Taveras has one major league home run, his second time at bat this year. Off of whom? Petit.
That's right. With that Taveras finish.
Was not Petit when he finished.
No.
Anything but.
Back to Petit, and he throws it into center field. A run will score. And Peralta advances to third, and that's the second costly error going against the Giants here today.
We talked about it earlier in reference to underhanding the ball to the first baseman.
Yeah.
Pitchers throwing the bases. Those plays are messed up, I think, more than any other throw. You look back over just the first half of the season, and we've seen it happen a number of times. Pitchers throwing the bases. You know, you look at Mariano Rivera in the 2001 World Series. The key play in Game 7 was the error that Mariano Rivera made throwing to second base on a sacrifice bunt. And he's one of the great athletes who could adjust to anything. But pitchers throwing the bases are messed up as much or more than any play, I believe.
There's an error back with Ellis at the plate. That was in the fourth. Would have been an inning-ending double play, just like that one moments ago. It led to 3 runs. This one, at least one more run, if not more, as the Cardinals have a chance to capitalize on these mistakes by the Giants. And from their perspective of things, nothing really is going right here the last 3 to 4 weeks for Bruce Bochy. Yes, they got the win from Lincecum in Game 1 of this series, but for the most part, they're not playing good baseball. Runners at the corners, and an 0-1 pitch as Ellis hits it out of play.
The Cardinals, on the other hand, I mean, everybody knows they've had a problem offensively, but it has not affected their defense to their credit.
Agreed. I mean, you look at the errors that have led to 4 runs, this easily could be a 3-2 game.
Oh, sure.
Oh, 0-2 on the Cardinals' second baseman. Petit with his second strikeout.
You and I are whispering up here. If it were an RBI for Taveras, and it's got to be, right?
I would think so, yeah.
We both concurred.
Because then you're assuming the double play.
Yeah,
you can't.
right. You can't do that.
I like how we're whispering, then going out to maybe 1 million people now. And is that or not? Wait, all right, hold on. Let me get the white out. Who are we fooling?
Yeah, right. Just say it.
Right.
Or ask it.
Here's John Jay with 2 outs. Runners at the corners. Good fastball. 0-2. Jay with a big hit in this game. It was a double to left off of Madison Bumgarner in the 4th. That picked up an RBI. He eventually came around to score on the base hit by Martinez. He bunted his way on in the 6th and scored on a triple by Shane Robinson. When the Cardinals saw the Giants and they took 3 of 4 at Busch Stadium, which has been about a month ago now.
Right.
I'm not sure at that time we had seen a better team in baseball. They were rolling. And here we are a month later. It's a battle for first place. It looked like they were running away with this division. Just amazing the ebbs and flows of Major League Baseball over 6 months. And right now the Giants are a good example of that. You know, Cardinals have had stretches of very good play, but hovered around 500.
Yeah, primarily because of lack of offense. The pitching's broken down occasionally, but lack of offense has been the major problem with St. Louis.
Strikeout of Jay. So he strikes out the side, but a costly error by Petit. Time to stretch. 7-2. Nissan drive of the game. Back in the first inning. Off the bat of Johnny Peralta. And Peralta leads a club in home runs with 12 as Tyler Colvin, the left fielder, had no idea where it was. Well, it was in the seats, and a 2-run lead for St. Louis at that time. Seth Maness, our Chevy, called to the pen. And he'll get the top of the lineup. So that gentleman out in McCovey Cove here at AT&T Park. The tie-in to Candlestick with that is that before the upper deck was added at Candlestick, fans would gather in right field waiting for a blast, and there's a strikeout off the bat of Willie McCovey. So they said, well, before we think about naming areas of this ballpark, that's McCovey Cove out there, and fans can gather. You can see them, you know, through the chain link fences. They can gather out there and right by the water in the cove, and the splash hits.
And back in the early 2000s, Don Novello, better known as Monsignor Guido Sarducci, used to take his web-footed dogs out there, and they retrieved balls hit into McCovey Cove.
Now wait a minute. By the way, there's the underhand that we like.
Don Novello from San Rafael. Web-footed dogs that actually retrieved balls in McCovey Cove.
This is Father Guido Sarducci.
You got it. Guido Sarducci, who was hilarious. Just killed me on Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. Wore his casket and smoked during his act.
People coming to ask him for advice, and he's smoking to them. Let me tell you, my friends.
Oh, just kill me.
Who did we run into in L.A., the press lounge? Laverne and Shirley. It was Lenny and Squiggy.
Oh, Dave Lander.
That's it.
Dave Lander.
Squiggy.
Dave is doing well after a long illness, but he's doing very well.
Father Sarducci to Squiggy. On Fox Sports Midwest. Let's go to our studio and a Bomberito Sports Update with Pat and Rick. Pat. Okay, guys, looking forward to it. Lynn, Evaldi tomorrow. Miller, Haney, who is a top prospect. We saw him pitch in spring training. That'll be on Saturday as Seth Maness will hit for himself. And then Marco Gonzalez and Henderson Alvarez on Sunday. All coming up at the ballpark. Great weather. Good seats still available. As the Cardinals have a chance to wrap up what could be a 5-5 road trip. All told, you say not too bad.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Tony La Russa always talked about how you had to play well above 500 at home, but on the road, if you can play 500, you'll be a championship team.
Especially when you're facing pitchers like Beckett, Ryu, Greinke, Kershaw in L.A., Lincecum, Vogelsong, and Bumgarner in San Francisco.
Yeah. That's a tough stretch. Mike Aldretti there on the left, the bench coach, and John Mabry on the right. 7-2 lead for St. Louis, a 2-1 pitch. Driven out to left, and again a late break. That drops in for a hit off the bat of Seth Maness. Maness, if you're wondering, did have a base hit last year. The Giants are thinking it's his first major league hit. It's in the glove of Buster Posey.
I don't think I've ever seen that. Now he has two. Now he has two balls at home. He has a souvenir baseball for his first hit and his second hit.
So 2 baseballs will be on that mantle at the Maness household. Now it's Carpenter with a runner at first. They'll play behind Maness, and he looks at a strike. Carpenter has walked and scored. He doubled, he struck out, and flied out to left. First of 3 beginning tomorrow night for St. Louis against Miami, then 4 with Pittsburgh, and a very important series prior to the All-Star game and the break. Milwaukee Brewers on the road for 3. Open up at home after the break, 3 with Los Angeles, and then 2 with Tampa Bay. Cardinals are going to feel like a rested team. I mean, when you think about Major League players, such creatures of habit, and you know you're playing every day just about for 6 months, really 7 if you include spring training. We have 4 days off in the All-Star break. We have a 3-game series, an off day, 2 games, and then another off day. That's driven into the corner in right. Manus on his way to third, and Carpenter with a double. Runners at second and third, and nobody out.
So Matt Carpenter now with, with 2 doubles on the afternoon. Walk and a run scored his first time up.
Infield again brought in. A 7-2 lead for St. Louis.
Yeah, Manus, I'm sure Jose Oquendo telling Seth Manus at third, make sure the ball goes through. You don't want to play at the plate with a prized reliever, or any pitcher for that matter.
Sure. Nobody out. Holiday hitless, and he drew a walk back in the 4th. One ball, 1 strike. One and 2.
That's the best pitch that Petit has thrown since he's been in there. 1+ innings.
Should have had a scoreless frame back in the 7th, but his error led to a run. He did strike out the side. He's set, and here comes a 1-2. Cardinals had that horrible stretch of games to start the year on the road, and Mike Matheny eventually conceded it was rough on the team and may have contributed to a slower start.
You don't want to give in to it, but I mean, facts are facts.
Yeah, it seemed like a very tired team. Holiday strikes out. Well, the Cardinals have had a number of opportunities in this game to bust it open with a runner at third and less than 2 outs, and have not cashed in. Reminder, the Bud Bash is coming up tomorrow. Brad Thompson will sign autographs beginning at 5:30. First 200 people in the Budweiser Bash line next to gate 5 guaranteed an autograph. We'll pitch around Adams here and load him up. Johnny Peralta will have a chance. Just looking at the schedule, second half, you have the off days that I mentioned, but this is the longest road trip of the season.
Yeah.
You know, from here on out, it's usually week at home, week on the road, and not that big a deal. Inning started with a single by Manus. A double by Carpenter in the corner and right. Holiday struck out. Intentional walk to Adams. And here's Peralta, who's had a 2-hit day, including a 2-run homer back in the first. Bruce Bochy likes this matchup obviously a little bit better. Potential of a double play. Peralta is in double figures in that category.
And no career grand slams for Johnny Peralta. You would have thought, a professional hitter like he is, that he would have run into one somewhere along the line, either with Cleveland or Detroit.
Javier Lopez starting to throw a lefty for the Giants. 1 ball, 1 strike. You'd see why the Giants would like Petit. He's got a mid-90s fastball, and at times, as you mentioned, he's thrown a couple of good breaking balls.
Yeah.
But can he be consistent? That's been the biggest question with him.
That was hittable. At first, fastball on the corner. That one was on the outside part of the plate in Johnny Peralta's zone.
The 1-2. Pulled foul, and he'd love to have that one back too. Oh. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bases loaded for the Cardinals, leading 7-2. A serious question for you after this pitch.
All right.
It deals with birds. The Bay Area. That'll get you on the edge of your seats back home.
Put my Audubon thinking to work.
The 2-2. And Peralta cranks it down the left field line. Hooking foul. How do the birds in this ballpark know when you're getting to late innings? Night, day, they know.
It's bird cocktail hour.
It's got to be. I mean, they're starting to circle right now. They can get a feel for it. They know.
They, like players, are creatures of habit.
You don't watch baseball games.
No, but they're creatures of habit. They hang in this area.
Ninth inning, they'll be all over the place. Wrigley Field, you see it sometimes.
Yeah, you see a lot of gulls in late innings at Wrigley. Yep.
They're starting to come in. 8th inning, here they come. Not sure I'd find your answer in Google.
No.
3-2 pitch, and Peralta hits it out to left. Colvin over, makes the catch. Runner will tag. That's Manus. Throw to the plate. It's a double play.
Boy, what a play by a left-handed thrower. My gosh. I know Seth Manus is running, but that was a beauty right there.
Right on the money. The tag of Manus, 7-2, midway through 8th. Brought to you by Bud Light Lime, the perfect beer for whatever happens. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Beautiful city. The China Basin, AT&T Park.
The bridge to Oakland, which is a new bridge, by the way. It's opened, been opened about 9 months or so. The cost of, I think, $7 billion. The Golden Gate, on the other hand, finished in 1937. What a magnificent structure it is, too, welcoming you to this fabulous city.
Pablo Sandoval, bottom of the 8th. It makes me think of some of the images, horrific images of 1989.
Oh, boy.
The World Series and the Bay Bridge Series. Manus makes the play. Loma Prieta earthquake. Right before, I believe, was what, Game 3?
Before Game 3 at 5:04 p.m.
You were working that game?
October 17th. I was on the air, yeah. I was on the air coming out of a replay of Dave Parker, a ball that Dave hit that hit the top of the wall, and he just made it for a double. And I was right in the middle of a obviously a prepared remark because it was our opening, and the train came rumbling through, and I had never experienced anything like that, Dan. It was just horrifying, shocking, and you talked about the upper deck earlier, the upper deck of Candlestick. Prior to that, a year and a half prior to that, the construction workers had constructed expansion beams to fortify the ballpark in case of an earthquake. And the beams did their jobs. They expanded. Concrete fell off, and everybody thought the ballpark was falling down. It wasn't. The expansion beams did the work that they were installed to do, and there was a mild panic in the upper deck in particular. But I've never seen light stanchions that swayed. I thought they were going to break in two like toothpicks. To what Mother Nature, the power of Mother Nature was extraordinary on that October night 25 years ago.
Adam Duvall at the plate. There were some, you read stories afterwards where they were wondering, are you having an earthquake? And there's the bad hop on Carpenter and got him. But you clearly knew right away.
Well, I knew it was something I've never experienced again and didn't want to experience again.
top of the ninth, our Budweiser player of the game, Carlos Martinez. This is the furthest he has gone in terms of pitch count in his start so far. So 88 pitches, 5 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk-in, struck out 6. Molina, Taveras, and Ellis. And Lopez greeted with a base hit into left center field. Wide turn by Molina at first base, and he'll stop there. Jason Mott beginning to throw in the Cardinals' pen. That day, just going back to this briefly, though, to finish the thought on it, but the earthquake hits, World Series is stopped, and then eventually the Giants never led in that series. They were swept.
Right.
4 games in Tony La Russa's championship year with the Oakland A's. But you were in the booth with Al Michaels, Jim Palmer.
Jack Buck and Johnny Bench were doing radio in the booth next to us.
Can't even imagine.
Yeah, it was. I think the earthquake itself was 27 seconds, and it seemed like an eternity.
I bet. 1 ball, 1 strike on Oscar Taveras. Reaching for it and taps it foul.
And you think, what if there were not a World Series game that night? Because everybody in the San Francisco area and Oakland.
Base hit for Oscar Taveras.
Good hitting by Taveras, waiting, lining one up the middle. Everybody in the Bay Area was home watching the game.
Right.
And had they not been at home watching the game, the fatalities would have been much, much higher. As fate would have it.
Yep. First and second now, nobody out. Bay Area native Daniel Descalso grew up idolizing the Bash brothers in the Oakland A's. And Daniel hits it to second. 4-6-3 double play. Voting continues through tonight, and the All-Star game will be seen on Fox. That's July 15th at 6:30 Central. Brings in Jay, who's had a good day. 2 hits. By the way, there's a goal biologist, we're told. We have answers.
Oh.
It's not just their happy hour. A goal biologist as Jay hits it foul. Their studies have concluded that the goals come in with the organ playing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," so it brings them in. So they know then you're in the 7th inning. You're looking at me.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Are you trying to get me again?
No, this is true. So if you want birds out of your yard, just don't sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
So they are baseball fans. You
Huge.
said they weren't.
They love it. PERALTA 2 for 5 with a 2-run homer back in the first. He also singled. And he is our BJC Healthcare difference maker. A couple of hits today, and now the Cardinals turn things over in a non-save situation to their former closer, and that's Jason Mott. Chevy called to the pen. Just waiting. They're ready to pounce. And our information provided by Keith O'Brien in our truck was dug up from a San Jose Mercury News article because people were asking the question that was burning on my mind. Burning, Tim. I want to know about these birds, these gulls, and why they know when to come. And there they are, right there. See them?
Oh, yeah.
And we got the answers.
When the Giants are on the road, do they show up?
That, my friend, I don't know. But I'm sure we'll find out. So take me out to the ball game. Brings him in. Here's Brandon Crawford. We've had Father Guido Sarducci, Lenny and Squiggy, and now the answers to the goals here in the San Francisco Bay.
That's right.
You want info? We give it to you, baby.
Universally. Universality. That's what we're after.
2 balls and no strikes.
Well, the Cardinals, if they win this game, will certainly enjoy the flight back to St. Louis a lot more. And had last night's results and today's results been different.
Think about coming into the series, Cardinals were just completely shut down in terms of their offense. And then Sunday was one of the toughest games they've had this year. They've blown out on Saturday. That was Greinke. Kershaw Sunday, as good as we've seen him with 13 strikeouts. The off day, then you have Lincecum, 8 innings, dominant baseball. And then Wainwright yesterday. Getting things back in order, so to speak.
Yep.
3-2 the count on Crawford. Final meeting, these two teams here today, unless we see the Giants in postseason play, which very well could happen. That'll find the seats out of play. And I will not see you until after the All-Star break.
After when the Dodgers come to town. That Friday and Saturday.
And a strikeout from Mott.
That's a Mott fastball of 2 years ago.
7-2 St. Louis. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cardinals.
Dan, that last fastball Mott threw had some vapor trails on it.
His velocity slowly but surely getting better.
Yeah.
Two balls and no strikes. I would say probably no one relies more on the velocity of a fastball, this rotation or bullpen, than Jason Mott.
And very few guys in baseball, as a matter of fact. Everything is hard. Cutter, fastball, occasional slider when things are right. Primarily fastballs this year, getting his strength back.
2-2. He fully believes this time next year or spring training, but next season, let's say, he's back to 98, 99. He's starting to feel comfortable and just cutting it loose. There it is again. That at 95. And the big picture of this and velocity coming back, Tim, is the type of role he could play potentially down the stretch.
Yeah. You combine him with Trevor Rosenthal, who's a more mature Trevor Rosenthal now, with not only the fastball in the upper 90s, but a good changeup.
Your bullpen all of a sudden becomes a real strength. So 2 down. Here's Brandon Hicks. Cardinals are 1 out away from taking 2 of 3 here in San Francisco, and 2 of 3 against Colorado on this trip. One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, nobody on. It has been an entertaining day of baseball here in San Francisco. Two-one hit in the air. Johnny Peralta started the scoring with a 2-run homer, ends the game, puts it away, and the Cardinals win it 7-2, and they take 2 of 3 against the Giants.
The 24 hours is not a long time in baseball when you play a night game and a day game. 2 wins for the Cardinals somehow make everything right.
Completely different outlook now to this trip.
Absolutely.
5-5 on the trip. They win this series. They win the Rockies series. They win this game 7-2. Post game comes your way next.